according to St. Luke, the 17th chapter.
Glory to you, O Lord.
On the way to Jerusalem, Jesus was going through the region between Samaria and Galilee. As he entered a village, 10 lepers approached him. Keeping their distance, they called out, saying, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." When Jesus saw them, he said to them, "Go and show yourself to the priests." And as they went, they were made clean. Then one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice. He prostrated himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked him, "Were not 10 made clean? But the other 9, where are they? Was none of them found to return and praise God except this one?" Then Jesus said to him, "Get up and go on your way. Your faith has made you well." This is the gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
See? So a little background on this text, just to help give a picture of what's going on. So Jesus is walking and comes into this village, and across the street there was a leper colony, or at least 10 lepers that were hanging out together, because that's what they had in common. Their disease that would cause them to be outcast, to be away, to be outside of the village. Now, if you were coming close, if you had leprosy, which in the time of the Bible was any type of incurable skin disease, but if you had leprosy and you were considered unclean, and someone was walking and they were coming close to you, by law, you raised your hand and you said, "Unclean! Unclean!" so that the person walking would know not to come near you. So here, Jesus comes in and they know. They've seen, they've heard, they have an inkling about who this guy might be. Instead of unclean, it's Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. So, Jesus says, go and show yourselves to the priests. Go and show yourselves to the priests. That's all he says. Which, by the law, they were required to do if they had been healed. They were to go and they were to show themselves to the priest, and the priest would determine them to be clean, and then they would be restored back into their community. They would be able to take part in their everyday lives as one that was whole and not ritually impure, and they would be clean. So they do. They head off on their way. All 10 of them are healed. That's important. All 10 of them are healed. They're on their way, and they're going to go show themselves to the priest. And I wonder if maybe the 10, out of the 10, maybe 9 of them were of Jewish descent living in Jerusalem, or at least around there, to where when they went to show themselves to the priest, that would be a normal, a common thing. Maybe they lived across the street from Zion Lutheran, and they knew that's the place where they worship. So if they were told to go to their place, they would go, "Oh, I'm going to go talk to the pastor. He's there, I know that." They would have that kind of community. That would be the now. And maybe the one, the Samaritan, the foreigner, the outcast of outcasts, would go, "I'm supposed to go to show myself to the priest, but I don't know. Where do I go? Who do I go see?" I don't know. All these things play a part in my head, except that all 10 of them are healed. It's important. All 10 of them are healed. It's not that one had more faith than the other, so he was the only one that was healed. They're sent on their way, and that one, though, that one, as he starts to leave, notices that he's been healed. And he turns back, and in a spirit of gratitude, lays himself down in a position of worship, and he gives thanks to God. He praises God in a loud voice. Now, Jesus' response, first of all, is, well, this is curious. I know that there were 10. One is turning back to give me thanks. And I wonder where the other 9 went. Now, it's fun, because when I first read this text, I can put all kinds of tone into the words of Jesus. But it's hard to read tone. So it could have been, where did the other 9 go, those ungrateful ex-lepers? They should be turning back and praising me. Could be that. Or it could be a spirit of joy and wonder. I wonder if the other 9 got to the priest. I wonder if the other 9 had been restored to community. I wonder if the other 9 are living a whole and healed life. I say that because all 10 were healed. All 10 received restoration into their daily life. But we have one turning back and giving thanks to Jesus and praising God. I say that because we could spend all of our time looking at the 9 and saying, why did they not turn back and give thanks? Or we could spend our time looking at the 1 who turned back in a spirit of gratitude, praised God, and gave thanks. Because the response of Jesus when he turns and he lays down and he gives thanks, the response is, go, get up, go on your way, your faith has made you well. I've said numerous times that all 10 were healed. That's important. It's also important to recognize that phrase, your faith has made you well. I think there's a difference between being healed and being made well. And it's the spirit of gratitude. It's the spirit of noticing that which is in your midst and lifting up and giving thanks for what God has done for you and for me and what God has done and continues to do for the world. That we live out in a spirit of gratitude and thanks. Now, being a child of the internet age, actually I'm not. The internet came when I was a young adult, but I still like saying it because it makes me feel a little bit young. But on the internet, I went to Google and I typed in quotes of gratitude. And so I'd like to read a few of them because they again lifted up in my heart the importance of giving thanks. The movement of grace towards gratitude brings us back from self-obsessed. I can't even read my own handwriting. That's terrible. I penciled this in next to my bulletin. This is great. Just to think, Lavon has to read my handwriting every single week. So the movement of grace towards gratitude brings us back from being self-obsessed to a moment of spiritual awakening. The other one was gratitude separates us from privilege and entitlement, which was an interesting thing for me. The difference between being privileged and the difference between being entitled. That difference between I have the stuff I have because I deserve it and it's mine, to I have what I've been given and and because what I've been given this, I have the responsibility to live out in the spirit of gratitude and use what has been laid in my lap for the bettering of the world. There's an interesting thing about living with the spirit of gratitude that changes our entire mentality and our entire focus on life. That act of giving thanks for what we've received truly changes our internal spirit. That we have been healed. I mean, it's one of those things. We come to the waters of baptism and we dip our fingers in the water of the baptism. God has done it all. God has brought us redemption on the cross and the empty tomb. God has saved us completely. That's what God does, and that is the work of God. Period. We are the 10 lepers. We have been healed. And then our wonderful responsibility is then to experience and live out that gratitude. And that can look in so many different ways. That can look and be acted out in so many different ways. For some folks, living an act of gratitude is giving to the food pantry because they go, oh, I've been blessed with stuff to eat this week. I'm going to act out in a gift of gratitude. When I was in Juneau, Alaska, our church had a food pantry. And it was curious to see, we'd have people come in, and they would, we would put together a bag of food. And the first time I experienced this, it just blew my mind. So we're there, we put together a bag of food for the person that came in, and the person starts to go through the bag of food and placing some of them aside. And I'm thinking, this is the idea of entitled thinking, moving to privilege. Entitled thinking was, they're taking this out of the bag, and they're going to tell me, oh, I'm sorry, I don't like this. Which is fine, actually, because I do that when I'm at the grocery store. But that's my thinking. I'm thinking they're going to tell me that they don't like this, they're going to tell me this. They've got their stuff, they pull out of the bag, they give it back to us, and they say, I already have this. What you have given me in this bag is what's going to help me for the next week. And it was a spirit of gratitude, and it was a spirit of making sure that the person that was coming into the next to get their bag of food would have enough. And it was a spirit of gratitude, of living in and out of that. Which, it shifted my thinking from entitlement, this is what I deserve, to privilege, and this is what has been given to us so that we might better the world how we give. The 10 were healed. The 10 received the gift freely from their God. The 10 were made so they could go and show themselves to the priest and be restored to community. That was given freely by Jesus. The one who lays himself at the feet of Jesus, like you and I, when we come and we receive bread and wine, simple gifts, but infused with the grace of God. We are then sent out with a spirit of gratitude. And we can go into this world praising God in so many different ways. Spirit of gratitude. I give thanks for you in this place. I give thanks for Carl. We're going to keep coming back to you. Yeah, I know. He's like, that's all right. That's enough. Reverend. I love it. One of my favorite things, and I told Carl this last week, and it's, you know those things that bring you joy? They give you a spirit of joy that help you live out your day. Every Sunday, actually I think it's every time we meet, but it's usually on Sunday morning when he walks in, he's like, morning, Reverend. And just that title, usually pastor, I just love it. He's like, morning, Rev. And it makes me smile, it feeds my soul. Your homework for this week, your homework is every evening, every night, maybe every early morning, depending on when your job has you going to bed. I want you to take time and list 3 things that you are grateful for. 3 things that feed your heart with joy, that make you say, oh, today is a good day. Because those acts of gratitude and giving thanks redirect our lives. It is so easy, and you know it as well as I do, it's so easy to get caught in the pit of the news, to get caught in the things that people tell us what we need to be worried and sorry and obsessed about, that we can forget the things that we have to be grateful for. So it's practice to spend time to say, God, I give you thanks for this. I give you thanks for the people in my life, and to name them. And then to let those people know. Because you will change their whole orientation for life. About how they move in this life and how their spirit responds to the days to come.